China just gave us the playbook that we need to use relentlessly against Trump. Trump thought that he was some great deal maker and decided to launch tariffs on whatever country he saw fit. And his reasoning was that it would finally get these countries coming back, begging us to remove the tariffs and strike up trade agreements. And he tried to do this with China. And guess what? China told him to go screw off. They called his bluff out in public to the point where a number of officials from China openly said that we don't care about Donald Trump levying tariffs. The US is not the center of the economic universe. And if the US insists on being adversarial, they can be out by themselves while we shore up our relationships around the globe. They called his bluff. And what did we hear from Trump? As soon as they called his bluff, he raised tariffs again to some ridiculous number. China retaliated by raising their own tariffs to similar levels and targeting them at red states. This was not going the way that Donald Trump thought it was going to go. And that's instructive because at his core, Donald Trump is what? He's a bully. And what do you need to do with bullies to get them to back down? You need to punch them in the face. And understand, Trump likes to put out this image that he's some tough guy, but at his core, even he knows he's inadequate. He's a guy that was second choice by his dad. His dad wanted his older brother to actually take over the company. Trump, in his own family, was second banana. He was the second option. His mom thought he was a moron. Every wife that he's had has only been with him because of money or because they were a honeypot. And when you think about what's actually out there in the news, when you look at anybody that he's gotten with since then, it's either been through force or through payment. And the ones that he's paid have openly ratted him out as being inadequate upstairs and inadequate downstairs. No matter how you slice it, even Donald Trump knows that he is inadequate, unintelligent, weak, pathetic, and useless. His parents told him as much as he was growing up. And he is demonstrating that again on the world stage. And China just called his bluff. And by calling his bluff and punching him back, what was he left to do? He's left crying on camera, talking about, we're just waiting for China to call us back. Understand what that means. He's been chasing after China to bring them back to the table. China's been out golfing and left him on red. And that is what we need to do to him. We need to understand and recognize that this is somebody who is a weakling, who's a coward, who's a dummy, and who's senile and is on his last legs. He's one cheeseburger away from kicking the bucket. And we need to ramp up the stress that he's feeling as much as possible. And the way to do that is to work through the Republican members of Congress and make them recognize that they work for us. No matter how scared they are of Donald Trump, they need to be more scared of us. If they want to hold their jobs, they need to worry more about us than they do Trump. That's the first step in the process. The second step in the process is that all of us, the citizenry, need to be united in opposition against what he's doing. We already know that there's going to be nobody that's coming to save us. So it's up to us to ramp that pressure up. And the stakes are high because he's just gone on record to say that he is ready and willing and able to ship off citizens to Salvadorian death camps. So there are no higher stakes than this at this point. But with what China did, Donald Trump has been neutralized. And as much as he can tout other deals that he might have, China circumvented those as well. The argument goes from the Trump camp that China needs us more than we need them. Is that really the case? We're holding food as a weapon against China. China has bypassed us by going to Australia and Brazil and working out agricultural deals there, along with other countries all over the world. And that's going to continue with every single attempt that this regime does to try to force people into their camp. This is a wake-up call for the global order. For everybody around the world, they recognize that the US, no matter how this shakes out, is one wingnut president away from doing this again. So every other country in the world is building their own alliances and their own supply chains so that they are highly interdependent, but not so interdependent that if one supply chain or if one channel goes down, they're crippled. That's where the US is going to be because of the Trump regime. President Xi of China just gave us the blueprint for kneecapping this regime. And understand, every person in this regime needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and removed from office and spend a long time behind bars. That was the mistake that was made post January 6th. Not enough of them ended up behind bars, including the orange moron that's in office. This is a clear and present danger, but we also have a clear playbook that we can employ to bring them to their knees. And that means constant pressure on elected officials. That means protests at those elected officials' offices. That means mobilizing and organizing. And that also means that we do economic strikes and national strikes as part of our repertoire. These are things that need to be ramped up aggressively in order to head off what's coming, because we cannot afford to take this lightly, because the regime is bent and committed to bringing forward an autocracy that will make 1930s Germany look like child's play.